My name is Gordon Hayward, spelled with a G, and I am the best player in the game today. This is a quote from Hayward himself in his article called The Best in the Game. At the time, Hayward only averaged 16 points per game, and few fans around the league knew him. So how could he call himself the best? Hello everyone. Today I would like to inform you all of a unique person that is one of my favorite athletes, Gordon Hayward. The reason I chose Hayward, besides the fact that he's one of my favorite players, is because I consider him to be one of the most interesting players in the NBA because of both his backstory and his personality. So first of all, let's explain who he is. Gordon is, as previously stated, an NBA player that is on the Boston Celtics. He's coming off of his first All-Star season, but unfortunately this season, his year ended early because of a gruesome injury he suffered in the team's first game. Gordon is an 8-year veteran, and again, because of his personality and backstory, he is one of the league's most interesting players. Gordon was born in Indianapolis on March 23, 1990. He played multiple sports growing up in Indiana, but once high school came, he limited his sports to just two, basketball and tennis. Because Gordon's parents were both only 5'10", Gordon never really thought of playing college basketball. He really was quite certain he would play tennis in college, and it would most likely be at Purdue University, where he would have played doubles with his twin Heather. Gordon was so serious about tennis that he even considered quitting basketball so he could focus solely on tennis. His mother, however, talked him out of it and told him to keep playing. This would probably be the best advice he ever took, as he ended up having a miracle of a growth spurt in high school, growing to 6'8" by his senior year. For high school, Gordon attended Brownsburg High and played both basketball and tennis there. Because of his growth spurt, Gordon began to take basketball more seriously, and by the time he was a senior, he became first-team All-State, averaging 18 points and 8.4 rebounds per game. He was even named the Player of the Year by the Indianapolis Star. He led Brownsburg to the Indiana State Championship game and hit the buzzer-beater layup to beat Marion High School 50-49. Gordon became a threat in Indiana, but only Indiana colleges were giving him a chance, as he gained offers from Purdue, Butler, and IUPUI. He heavily considered Purdue because both of his parents were alumni from there, but he chose Butler instead because the 6:30 a.m. practice times were more convenient for him, as his major was going to be computer science. Also because Butler at the time had a head coach by the name of Brad Stevens, who is currently the coach of the Boston Celtics and is considered one of the best coaches in the NBA. In college, Hayward became an instant impact for Butler. Butler was expected to have a rebuilding year, as 3 of their top 4 scorers from the previous season were not returning. This gave Hayward a chance to play, and he took advantage. He averaged 13.1 points per game his freshman year and was selected to first-team All-Conference. Butler broke expectations and won the regular season Horizon League title. This season was good enough for them to get into the NCAA tournament as a 9 seed, where they faced LSU in the first round, but unfortunately lost. In Hayward's sophomore season, however, he broke out. He became the team star and averaged 15.5 points per game and 8.2 rebounds per game, which was good enough for him to be named the Horizon League Player of the Year. It was at this time that Butler made their NCAA tournament run. The 5-seed Butler Bulldogs found themselves in the national championship against Duke, which became a historic matchup. After Duke had missed a free throw, they were ahead 61-59. Hayward then secured the rebound and heaved a last-second half-court shot that went off the backboard, then hit the front rim. Sports Science did a segment on the last shot and analyzed that if the shot was released half of a mile per hour less and aimed 3 inches leftward, then it was a sure make and Butler would have been the champions. Hayward then made the decision to leave Butler and pursue his dream of playing in the NBA. He declared for the NBA draft and ended up being the 9th pick in the 2010 draft by the Utah Jazz. Gordon played only a measly 16.9 minutes per game his rookie season and only averaged 5.4 points per game, as he was eased into his transition from college to the NBA. Hayward gradually got better and better until he became a sure starter in 2014. From there, he became the team's best player and an All-Star in the 2017 season. Hayward averaged a career-high 21.9 points per game that season and led the Jazz to the playoffs, where they would be knocked out in the second round by the Golden State Warriors. Over the summer of 2017, Hayward was an unrestricted free agent. He was given offers from the Miami Heat, Boston Celtics, and Utah Jazz. After much consideration, Hayward decided to reunite with his college coach, Brad Stevens, and join the Boston Celtics, where he is today. Hayward is a fantastic basketball player, but it is his life outside of basketball that makes him different. Gordon Hayward is an avid video game player. The statement I read from the beginning of his speech was not him saying that in regards to his basketball skills. Hayward was calling himself the greatest League of Legends player in the NBA. That whole article, in fact, was dedicated to his love for video games and explained how they influenced his life. Gordon had always played video games since childhood and really took a liking to them in high school. After sports practices, Gordon would come home to play video games for 3 hours a night. He became very good and even joined a video game team with his friends, where they would compete in local tournaments and win money. In almost every game he played, Gordon became a nationally ranked player. He's passionate about video games and still shows his support to them as he is involved with esports today. Not really what you'd expect from an NBA All-Star to be doing with his time off the court. That's what makes Gordon unique. Also outside of basketball, Gordon married his high school sweetheart Robin in 2014, and they have 2 daughters together, Bernie and Charlie. So to recap, Gordon Hayward is a professional basketball player from Indiana. He had intentions to be a tennis player in college, but had a miracle growth spurt that allowed him to pursue basketball instead. Gordon attended Butler University for 2 years before going into the NBA draft, where he would get drafted 9th overall to the Utah Jazz. Gordon currently is on the Boston Celtics, but has his season ended early from a broken ankle. I hope to see Gordon back in action next season, and I hope he doesn't miss a beat and continues to play at that all-star level like he did in Utah. If he does, because of him and multiple-time All-Star Kyrie Irving, they have a chance to give Boston a shot at the championship, but only time will tell. For now, I hope Gordon has a speedy, healthy recovery and hope to see him continue what has been an impressive career.